UFC Kansas City's going down tomorrow night. Weigh-ins just concluded, and Giga Chikadze missed weight. It wasn't a bad miss. It wasn't the worst miss I've seen. You know, sometimes we're seeing some wobbly movement. Sometimes people are really zapped. It was 1 pound. So I'm still picking Giga, but I don't love to see a weight miss. I mean, we've always got to call it out. When there's a weight miss, I got to start wondering why that happened. Are you injured, right? What happened where you are having an abnormal time making weight? I mean, in the UFC, you get day before weigh-ins, you know? Like we're hosting these Alta fights at UFC Gym Huntington Beach, and they have to weigh in morning of. You're just going to fight closer to your weight, and there could be a lot of reasons why you don't make weight. Hey, I was already feeling bad. I knew I had to fight tonight, you know? UFC doing day before weigh-ins, if you're blowing weight the day before, there's probably more to the story here. So with all that being said, it wasn't the worst. You know, I didn't see any signs of something that would make me think that now David Onama is a better striker than Giga Chikadze. And, you know, based on what I've seen, I believe Giga Chikadze could keep it on the feet. So I'm going to still go with them. Although my track record has definitely been staying away from people who are heavy. Okay? All right. Let's talk these fights. We'll go from the bottom on up. I'm going to break down each fight, some quicker than others. And, you know, there's a lot of fun bets on this card. I've already got a few out myself. If you want to go check those out, DM at Mike Finch'Show on Instagram. We'll get you in to the premium channel. I also always drop a bet, a parlay, something over in the free channel. Link in the description. Let's go from Chelsea Chandler and Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards is not that good, but she's better than Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler has no business being in the UFC. And Jocelyn Edwards kind of doesn't either, but is better. She's got better striking. She trains with better women. I've seen her train with Tatiana Suarez. This is not A-grade UFC material. However, I do think she's better every single place this fight goes. So clear lean to Jocelyn Edwards. Not somebody I, run to go bet on, but that's the pick. Timmy Cuamba and Roberto Romero. Timmy Cuamba could be a slightly better striker here. He's got, good knockout power, works the body well. He can definitely grind out a tough fight. Slight lean to Roberto Romero because of the grappling. I think he could potentially be the MMA fighter here, get some key takedowns in Kansas City, and grind this thing out for the scorecards. Probably a close fight, probably a really good fight. Definitely one, I'll tell you now, I did not bet on. Slightly in Roberto Romero. Jacqueline Amorim and Polyana Viana. Jacqueline Amorim is a lock. But Polyana Viana at weigh-ins looked in shape. She didn't look bad. You have to be more than in shape, though. I think she's going to have trouble with her grappling technique. I think Amorim submits her. Now, what round is that in? That's valuable info because this is finally a ladies' fight where the under-over isn't crazy. But, I wouldn't go chasing that. I do think that Jacqueline Amorim gets her out of there. I don't know when. Polyana, Viana looks to be in shape for 3 rounds. Whether her, anti-strangle, anti-armbar defense is going to get her there, we'll find out. Jacqueline Amorim via submission, too much of a skill gap when it hits the floor. Cameron Saaiman and Wellmaker is a really good fight. Slight lean Cameron Saaiman, but Wellmaker, very talented. I just don't see him really having fought anybody. He was fighting kind of not bums, but, not caliber fighters. And Cameron Saaiman has, man, Peyton Talbot and the training camps that he's had, as young as he is, the UFC experience he has, I do think counts for something. He's pretty damn technical. So I see people saying like Wellmaker knockout. I don't see Cameron Saaiman making a mistake like that. I think he could grind out this fight, higher volume than Wellmaker. You know, the kid's got a knockout on Dana White's Contender Series, but I don't think that Cameron Saaiman is an easy mark here. Cameron Saaiman, decision. Damone Blackshear over Alatengheili. I'm going Damone Blackshear because he's a much better grappler, and his striking's good enough. I think he's well-rounded enough to deal with Alatengheili. Good, interesting matchup. I mean, not the widest one. I think some people are just slamming Damone Blackshear here. He's better. He's a better grappler. He's absolutely the pick here. I do have some confidence in him. He just wasn't a part of the biggest bets of the night, man. Damone Blackshear, being a better grappler is a good thing. If he's not hitting takedowns, you could imagine this thing being a little close. If he does get, you know, those grappling exchanges in, he could definitely win by submission here. Damone Blackshear is the pick. Chris Gutierrez and Zhang Castañeda. I'm going Chris Gutierrez. Zhang Castañeda pulled out of the last one. I think he needs a takedown here to win this fight. And Chris Gutierrez is pretty damn slick at kickboxing. His kicking game is really nice. I think his takedown defense is good enough for a Zhang Castañeda. His get-ups are fine. And Chris Gutierrez has a decent output when he's on. Like, if Chris Gutierrez could just set a pace here, he could run away with this thing 30-27. I do think Chris Gutierrez is much better in that kicking range, and I think he'll show it here. Close odds with these two. I got Gutierrez, and I've had him every other time this matchup was made. Evan Elder and Gage Young. I'll go Evan Elder. He's good. He's a little inactive. Right? Be nice if he fought more. We don't love that. But, you know, I think that he's a bit higher level here. You know, Young's only loss was to Sadikov, who has shown to be pretty respectable talent. But Evan Elder, you know, fighting good competition in the UFC, looking really good. Yeah, he only fights once a year. I hope that they start getting him active now because he's a guy who can move up into the rankings. I like Evan Elder in this matchup. Probably a decision, but it's a good fight. Matt Schnell and Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick is worse. He's got nice submission grappling, but he's getting a little bit bankrupt everywhere else. He's not young. He's not talented. His striking has gaps in it, and Matt Schnell should be more competent. Matt Schnell should be able to put it together more. Both of these guys are on crazy loss streaks, right? Maybe not the UFC caliber fights we want, but the matchup is interesting. I do think Matt Schnell runs away with it. I think he's a better striker. I think he could grapple enough and not get caught in anything from Flick. I mean, Flick, it's kind of like Hail Mary submissions, you know, that hasn't been working out that well. All right. I'm going to go with Matt Schnell. Ikram Aliskerov and André Muniz. I like it. André Muniz is good at jiu-jitsu. Could that be a problem here? I don't think so. I don't think so because Ikram Aliskerov is a lot better at wrestling and more powerful and dangerous with his striking. I mean, Muniz has just not shown to be anything but a sleepy kickboxer. His striking is just not consequential. On the ground, Muniz is great. He's a great grappler. He's a high-level jiu-jitsu competitor. He's a black belt. You could see it, but he breaks. But he gasses out. And he's against this powerful wrestler who does have the capability to knock people out. Aliskerov, the knock on him, you could punch him in the face and he might fall down. But is André Muniz the guy who's going to do that? I don't think the matchup serves him there. I do believe Ikram Aliskerov with the wrestling and the striking probably finishes this fight. Randy Brown and Nicolas Dalby. These next two, I've been mulling over. I'm starting to see how Nicolas Dalby could win this decision. You know? I could see him winning 2 and 3. He has to not get knocked out in 1. You know, there's talent that's on the side of Randy Brown. Speed, power. You know, Randy Brown's shown us what he could do. Nicolas Dalby has this incredible heart, this incredible ability to start running away with it as the fight goes on. Is he too old, etc.? I mean, there's a lot of question marks. Nicolas Dalby is a sizable underdog. What is he? Give me the updated Dalby line. Dalby's at plus 256. All I could say is that's a respectable plus 256. Fuck it. Nicolas Dalby. Hope I don't eat that one on Monday. Michel Pereira and Abus Magomedov. I had Michel Pereira, and as the fight gets closer, I could just see avenues for Magomedov to win this thing. He's probably going to be able to deal with a backing up Michel Pereira. You know, Michel Pereira likes to be on, he bounces and he stays on the outside and he throws explosive shit. Not that well-rounded. You can imagine Magomedov being a bit better at grappling, mixing that in. His striking's decent, you know. Sean Strickland was able to put him away, but he does have probably the capability to at least survive with Michel Pereira on the feet. And then as he started, with Pereira's last performance, Fluffy Hernandez can grapple his ass off. Don't get me wrong. But you could see how to beat him. A little bit of a blueprint there, right? Get him on the fence, get him a little tired. I could see Magomedov grinding this thing out. So slight lean to Magomedov. Really good fight between those two. Obviously, Michel Pereira is the fucking man. He does backflips on people's faces. He's a problem. Giga Chikadze and David Onama. Giga blue weight. We don't like that. But David Onama, is magically going to be able to take him down now? I think he needs that. It's not like we've seen Giga put out. It's not like we've seen Giga, struggle against, anything but like world-class, Calvin Kattar in his prime, Arnold Allen in his prime too. And those were good fights. Calvin Kattar wore on him with the wrestling. I just don't see Onama having that ability here. And from interviewing Giga and, talking to him quite a bit, I can tell you that he absolutely, in his heart of hearts, knows that he's evolved. Like, he knows that he's not the same guy who fought Calvin Kattar. He knows how much time he spent on the grappling. I saw Merab Dvalishvili shoot on him many times, and I won't talk about sparring besides that. But I know that Giga Chikadze has been really working his grappling, and his striking's been there, man. He has been a nasty kickboxer who could put people away. I think Giga Chikadze lands to the body hard, and he's going to put David Onama away. He blew weight by 1 pound. Historically, we don't love this. So just got to say that out loud. Pick is still dog money on Giga Chikadze. Anthony Lionheart Smith and Mingyang Zhang. Mingyang Zhang should knock him out. Anthony Smith didn't look too bad at weigh-ins, and he's big, man. He's a big boy. Facing off with Mingyang Zhang, I thought Mingyang Zhang would be a little bit bigger than Anthony Smith, and he's not. But Anthony Smith it's over. The ship has sailed. The trilogy of the Lord of the Rings, where the boat's leaving with Gandalf on it, and Bilbo's on it, Frodo's on it, they're just sailing away. That's this moment for Lionheart. He had his run. He even got a nice upset guillotine towards the end. But this is not a good matchup for him, man. I don't see, besides Hail Mary submission. Again, what are you going to do? You're going to bet Hail Mary submission, Jimmy Flick and fucking Lionheart? Like, yeah, 1 out of 100 times they do get it, but I don't think he's jumping the gilly and getting a tap here. I think he's getting put out with cleaner strikes, direct to target hits. I think he's getting rocked up here. Mingyang Zhang getting the dub. Ian Machado, Garry, and Carlos Prates. This is a good fight. Are you not excited for this fight? Is this not why we don't watch baseball? Right? And I'm a Cubs fan. I don't watch baseball. By the way, family, okay, born into it. Cubs fan. They're good this year. But I'm not watching because I got fights like Ian Garry and Carlos Prates. That's fun. Can Carlos Prates put him away? Ian Garry looks like he has the arms of a T-Rex because his torso is so damn long. Yes, I looked up the reach. Carlos Prates, despite being 2 inches shorter, has 3.5 inches of reach on Ian Garry. I think that Ian Garry can't get those elbows down to his body quick enough to avoid getting kicked and kneed in the stomach. I think that Carlos Prates' body shots are the best in the division, arguably the best in the UFC right now. I think he's going to uncork body shots on Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry's going to miss some of these takedowns, and even if he does get one, not be able to control Carlos Prates, who's shown us that butterfly guard, who works with one of, if not the best team in the world right now. They're definitely on fire over there at Fighting Nerds, and this Fighting Nerd is a bad motherfucker. He smokes cigarettes, he drinks alcohol, and he knocks people the fuck out. Okay? He made people think that Charlie Radke wasn't good. Charlie Radke just went up against the best striker in the division. I don't think Ian Garry is as good at striking as him. He can try to point fight him, and he looks in shape. I mean, both of them look, lean and mean at weigh-ins for sure. They're both in shape for this. And 5 rounds is interesting, right? Because if anybody's got a 5-round style, it's Ian Garry. I think Carlos Prates knocks him out. I think Carlos Prates is going to bury a knee or a kick into that body and put him away. And even if it doesn't put him away to the body, then after hurting him to the body, I think Carlos Prates is going back up to the head. He's a vicious striker. The team is on fire. You're going to have Gene Silva barking at him in the corner. I think this kid is a phenomenal kid. We're the same exact age. We're both 31. I think that he is a phenomenal striker. I'm like Dana White out here calling people kids. I'm just going to shave my head bald next. I think he's special. He's a special talent. Ian Garry's all right. Ian Garry's all right. He took down MVP. Yeah. Logan Storley took MVP down every single round. I mean, MVP is not a wrestler, man. That was a close fight with MVP. And he was not better at striking than MVP. I do think that the jury's out on Carlos Prates' wrestling, but come on. That Ian Garry is going to Dagestan him, y'all are crazy. Like some people are just way overconfident in Ian Garry. This is a fun fight. This is why we do this shit. It's a fun fight. And Carlos Prates is an underdog. I think they trip him. I think just because Ian Garry's seen some better names in the cage, yeah, he lost his last fight to an injured, right? Shavkat Rakhmonov. If Shavkat wasn't injured, what would the fight look like? We'll never know. Maybe the same way. Maybe it'd be the exact same. Either way, he's not that level. I think Carlos Prates is more dangerous for folks, for Shavkat, for any of them. You stand across from that guy, he is whipping fight-ending shots at you. I'm a fan. One more time for the people in the back. Carlos Prates, knockout. Zhang, knockout. Giga Chikadze, knockout. Michel Pehe and Abus Magomedov going to a close decision. I'm leaning Abus. Randy Brown and Nicolas Dalby going to a close decision. Dalby. Ikram Aliskerov and André Muniz. I think Aliskerov could break him. Matt Schnell over Jimmy Flick. Evan Elder over Gage Young. Chris Gutierrez over John Castañeda. Damone Blackshear over Alatengheili. Saaiman over Wellmaker. Amorim over Viana. And Romero over Cuamba. And Jocelyn Edwards over Chelsea Chandler. When you say Edwards and Chandler, people are like, is Leon Edwards fighting Michael Chandler? No. Maybe at one point in the game, that would have been a fun fight, though. What's up, everybody? What's up, Monzy, man? Finch man doing what he does. Let's go. I love this shit, Monzy, man, and I love you, too. Thank you so much for the 777, blessing us with some good numbers there. I appreciate it. Finch, stop the cap. You like Prates because he smokes cigs? Brother, first of all, I don't smoke cigarettes. For some reason, I have a lighter right next to me. Was 420 recent? Anyway, I don't smoke cigarettes. Okay? No tobacco in my game. Giga Lock, what's up, Finch? He'd miss weight, but I still like him, and he's dog money. Onama, Lock, Giga looked hurt on scale. Brother, I hope not. I hope Giga would text me, brother. Why did I do an accent that's not even Giga's? I went straight Dagestan for that. What was up with that? Racist. How did he look hurt on the scale? Okay. I'm going to like it up for Mike Finch. Thank you, Hernandov. Like this video. Share it with your friends and family. I'm sure your mom would appreciate it if you share the link to this video. Invite her in. All right? Do that. What's up, KZ? Lake County, Illinois. Stand up. That's my hometown. Morgan Wallen. I was just playing in the car. I can't love you more than my hometown. Shout out to Lake County. Lake Villains. Smith and Flick submission parlay. You crazy for that, KZ. Crazy for that. Oh my God, Finch, you're live at a normal human time. Yay. Dixon, I might be Batman. Okay? Because you only see me at night. Is that how that works? I just stay up late, dude. So sorry about that. I could probably do more shows during the day. I will commit that to y'all. All right? We'll get them earlier as time moves on here because I like this. Although it is beautiful outside. I live in Huntington Beach. Sometimes you just got to go outside in the middle of the fucking day. You know? I know. I'm sorry. I usually broadcast at like midnight. Sometimes 1. So you're welcome. The script says the main event ends in a split decision plus 750. Dixon, that's not impossible, but I don't think so. Garry going to make it a bona fide sparring match. That's how he does. I think Carlos Prates is real good at sparring too. You know? I think people are thinking like that Ian can just point fight him for 5 rounds. Like, I think it's harder. First off, the fights are scored via damage. Okay? So good luck just tapping your way through the fight. I think Prates is going to hurt him with some shots, kick his legs. Prates is rangy too. You know? I know Ian Garry is always taller than folks. He's 6'3". Prates is 6'1" and has a longer reach. I feel like he's going to do fine from that green zone, that far out zone. I think he's going to do fine there. Finch, go get you some tacos El Gordo de carne asada. Hernandov, I will. It's literally walking distance from my place. Okay? I will go and try it. I've asked my wife 2 times. 2 times. She had some other ideas. We like to go to TK Burger in Huntington Beach. Nobody gives a fuck about this. But, you know, sometimes she's like, no, we're going to TK. So I will do that. I want some good carne asada tacos. Love me some cows. Cows are great. One time I ate mushrooms and went to the local fair, and I saw a cow, and I was looking at the cow, and the cow was looking at me, and I just thought, man, what a beautiful animal. Like, how could I eat this beautiful thing? Unfortunately, it tastes fantastic. Finch, stop the cap. You like Prates? Oh, I already read that one. Crazy people think Garry will submit Carlos. Carlos is a jiu-jitsu black belt, hits hard and precise. Good cardio. I hope good cardio. Because we haven't seen him 5 rounds in the UFC. Like, I want to see him with a real problem like Ian Garry over 5 rounds. You know? I'm heading to Seal Beach tomorrow. Awesome. You're in my neck of the woods. Come by UFC Gym Huntington Beach. Say what's up. Cow tongue stew? You wild for that, Dixon. Hell no. Finch Giga did make weight with the curtain of shame. He came back. He did. Are you sure? I think he missed by a pound, bro. All right. Those are the full card picks. I'm super excited for this card. I'm loving it. It's some great fights. If you want to see my favorite bets, you can go over to the premium channel. Just DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. We'll get you in there. And then, of course, I always drop a bet or two over on the free side. There's a link in the description of this video. It's always on my channel as well. I appreciate you guys tuning in every single time. Enjoy the fist fights. I will be right back with Most Confident every single Monday, and I'll keep this up right after weigh-ins because I like to see how they look. We got to see, you know, who's struggling and who's not. That helps me pick fights. All right, let's eat. Until next time, it's peace and love.